We have got to check this out. We have an exclusive interview with Shamsud din Jabbar's brother, and there's some interesting things that he said in here that I think we need to hear. Let's check this out.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
What's up? Obviously, there's been a lot of things that have been going on surrounding the whole tragedy that happened in New Orleans and also in Las Vegas. And of course, there's been a slew of other random wild acts of violence over the past 48 hours, even right after this whole thing went down, and then some. It's been weird, to say the least, and tragic, because all these innocent lives have been basically threatened, or if not taken, because people are either inspired by or enacting things because they are a part of something, whatever it may be. They may be a part of whatever this Jabbar individual was a part of, or they're just doing it because they feel some type of way and they feel like this is the time to start acting a fool. Now, here's the thing. I've been wanting to know a little bit more about Jabbar, and I think a lot of y'all have been wanting to know a little bit more about Jabbar too. Now we have an interview by one of his brothers, Abdur, if I'm saying his name correctly. His face isn't seen in the interview, but he is speaking and talking about his brother. And there's things that he's saying in this interview that I'm like, I told y'all, I've been told y'all, I knew that that something was up about the attack in New Orleans and possibly the attack in Las Vegas. Yes, I know. Law enforcement still so far as the recording, up until the recording of this video, they have not yet said that these two are connected. Yet there's a lot of connections. There's a lot of similarities, okay, and a lot of coincidences that align these two gentlemen, these two monsters, to be correct, together. Okay, I'll explain a little bit more about my theory in just a minute. But first, we have got to check out this interview with Jabbar's brother, Shamsud din Jabbar's brother. Let's rock and freaking roll, shall we?
Of him and his two older brothers share a father, and he tells me that Jabbar lived a relatively normal life. The brother that I spoke with, his name is Abdur, and he says that Jabbar attended high school here in Beaumont, a central high school. He was living in Houston at the time of the attack, and he tells me that there was no red flags leading up to what happened. He does say that the shooter, who went by the nickname of Sham, did express some discontentment with the partying that took places in different areas, like on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. But he says that those activities were not righteous, but he didn't say that he was going to directly do anything in any of the areas where he complained about people partying continuously.
Now, what's interesting about this, first, let me just stop that, because this interview is fairly short, but I do want to point something out. I just said in a show, just the last show that we covered this whole case and the Las Vegas case, I said out loud, this is probably somebody who felt some type of way about the certain themes that go on in New Orleans, at least on Bourbon Street, French Quarter area. Same thing as the stuff that goes on in Las Vegas. It is nothing but filled and fueled with sin. Now, I know, let me just say this really quick. I'm not sitting here trying to throw the Bible or the Quran or anything of that sort over somebody, the Torah, even over on somebody's head. I'm not trying to be righteous of any kind. But what's interesting about what he said here, about what his brother said about Jabbar, is that he did not like what those values were. Those were sinful, demonic, dark values on Bourbon Street and in Las Vegas. What is Las Vegas also known as? The city of sin. Think about it. There was the attack where the Cybertruck went off, and with what he did with his truck, trying to set off devices as well that did not successfully go off. Think about all those things. Think about all of that. And you're telling me that this was not connected? You also got to remember, if he was devout, from what I'm understanding, a very devout Muslim, I'm sure those values, being the devout Muslim that they are allegedly saying that he was, I'm sure he was looking at those particular places with absolute disdain and disgust. That's possible. And there's a good possibility that that Matthew Livelsberger individual that set off that Cybertruck could have been agreeing with him. Maybe he wasn't maybe he wasn't Muslim, but maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, maybe he was soft Muslim. You never know. But he could have been just a devout Christian that believed that those areas were filled with nothing but sin and wanted to enact or work in tandem with this monster here too. That's a possibility. But then again, God only knows, guys. We still don't know much about the Matthew Livelsberger guy at all. And there's other reports of families saying that what he was doing was peaceful, or like he was trying to send a peaceful message. Like, I don't know. That's some crazy stuff. And we'll talk about that in another video. But nonetheless, I just think it's very interesting that Jabbar, or Sham, as they would call him, this monster was looking at New Orleans with absolute disgust, that he was not happy with what values and what kind of things that they really hoisted up, right? And focused on: alcoholism, consumption of substances, so on and so forth, right? But let's continue on. Just an interesting thing. Like I said, I ain't trying to take y'all to church or nothing. All I'm saying is my theory could be right.
He grew up here in Beaumont, like I said, attended Central High School. He was an Army veteran who served in Afghanistan, and his family says that he lived in Houston. He worked in tech. He had 3 kids, and he was twice divorced. The most recent one was just settled last year. Now, his brother did say that
3 whole different divorces, y'all. 3 of them. Also, I guess he wasn't as good of a tech guy. Thank God he wasn't as good of a tech guy, because if he was really good, those devices would have gone off. Think about that for a second.
divorce did burden the shooter financially, because he felt that, according to his faith, he had to pay for his ex-wife home for some time. But overall, he says that their family is just shocked and devastated by what happened, because, like I said, he said the shooter showed no red flags.
No red flags.
And prayers and thoughts go out to those families, the victims of those families, and those who were there to witness it. It's a tragedy, and you know, to understand that we're all grieving about this. This wasn't the man I knew. This wasn't the father, the son that I knew, and that also this isn't any representation of Al-Islam or Muslims or the Muslim community.
I do want to say that is true, because I've seen other commentators put out stuff like, oh man, please don't let it be a Muslim. Please don't let it be somebody, one of us, that kind of thing. Because it does shine a bad light on the Muslim community. And that's really sad though too. And then of course, his whole family now is going to get side-eyed. And I hope that they are getting investigated, because you never know. You never know where all this got started, where it sprouted from, and all that. Any of this is possible, and it could be within the family too. I hate to say it like that, but they need to do their due diligence just for the sake and the safety of the American people and potential people all over the globe. Let's be real. But this is some tragic stuff, guys. I'm going to be real. Very, very tragic stuff. It's wild to me that this individual was hiding basically in plain sight, and even the family is shocked. And in my mind, I'm like, you sure you didn't hear or like see anything, any red flags? Like, really? You didn't see nothing? This really just came out of the blue as a surprise? Like I said, I got questions about that. But at the same time, you know, I appreciate a family member stepping forward and speaking out about this. But like I said, I got a lot of questions about this, and hopefully we get more answers very, very soon. Did he really work alone? I don't think so, but time will tell. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think? What do you think about the brother speaking out and all that? Definitely comment down below. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. And we'll be talking soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.